Make way for the bad guy!
What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Crowd Pleaser, the talk show that brings you the inside scoop on what it takes to be a male entertainer in today's age. This is episode 14, and this is going to be part 2 of Cesar's Repertoire. Alright, what this means is I'm going to be discussing as much of my acts as that I have created or currently own in the club until time runs out. So let's see where it goes. But first things first, we'll go ahead and mention the Patreon. That's patreon.com/crowdpleaser. Alright, where you can give something back to the show if you really appreciate all the content that we're putting out here. You can go in there and sign up for as little as $1 a show. You get all kinds of neat perks like being able to see the video of this podcast as well as my choreography that I'm going to be discussing today and the acts being performed on stage, as well as extra footage and some behind the scenes looks of my reality show that will be coming out soon, which leads me into my reality show, Cesar's Crowd Pleaser Contest. Alright, imagine Magic Mike meets American Idol / So You Think You Could Dance. Alright, I'm going to have 10 entertainers coming on stage competing in various challenges each episode. Alright, the judges, which myself and XL, will decide on who is the winner, which has immunity for that week, and the rest of the entertainers will go up on the chopping block, where the viewers, you, will have 2 full days to vote and tell your friends to vote for your favorite entertainer. And the man with the least amount of votes by the end of that session gets sent home. So we'll see who's the last entertainer standing by that. I think it's a good time. Got some good footage on there for you people to enjoy, so come on, check it out. Next is La Bear Dallas. This is where I work at. 5 nights a week. Put on a phenomenal Las Vegas style show with over 17 different entertainers of all shapes, sizes, and anything else you'd like. Definitely come out and check it out. You can hang out, you can celebrate a divorce, you can celebrate a wedding, bachelorette party, birthday, you name it, we got it. Put your girl of honor up on stage, embarrass her a little bit, make some really good memories. Definitely check it out. Alright, so now we have a question of the week. Alright, question of the week comes from Stacy from Dallas. And she asks, I know the Sexiest Man competition is coming up and I have never been to one before. I've heard you say there is swimsuit category, but I was wondering what the other categories are and how it is judged. Well, Stacy, yes, there are 4 categories in total for the Sexiest Man competition. There is the swimsuit competition, there is suit competition, nightwear competition, or category, sorry, and then last but not least, the act. So it includes what we have in every other strip off plus a little more of a pageant type thing. And I believe the scoring is going to be to where all 4 categories are judged equally. So they equally help you, so you should end up seeing some pretty good outfits and suits and whatnot coming out of that. Guys showing a little bit of their humor and creativity, and of course the shows are always phenomenal. I'm not 100% yet on which show I'm going to do yet, so definitely stay tuned to find out. Alright, so since last time we ran out of time, let's go ahead and bump right into the topic now for this one, and hopefully we'll get to finish for you. So I wanted to start off with 2 of my hype songs, and what a hype song is I saw this idea from Ace Boogie. And after whatever act he does ooh ah, where any entertainer that's in the back or on stage or wherever is more than welcome to jump on stage, and we do a very simple choreography that you almost can pretty much learn by watching, to the point where a bunch of our patrons at the club, females, have picked up on the choreography as well. And we just have a good time on stage, and it really helps hype up the crowd and really get the mood going where you're in a fun place. So me being a young entertainer, realizing the potential of having such a useful tool in your arsenal, I decided to create my own. So the first one was Come Baby Come by K7, which is oldie but goodie. I love that song. I used to jam out to it when I was younger. So I said, why not? I ended up hiring a choreographer to help me choreograph this because, once again, I was just getting in my stage legs underneath me. So I still wasn't comfortable. I really wanted this to pop and make it simple. Well, turns out he made it a little more difficult. So it ended up being choreography to where I actually had to teach guys and we had to rehearse it to make sure it looked good. But it was a lot of fun. And it really kind of sparked it. And I liked it because it didn't matter. It felt like whether I wanted to go theatrical or excitement or sinister or just straight hip-hop or something simple or even a comedy skit, it always brought it home with the hype song K7. Next one is Magnum. This one is another hype song that I enjoyed because it was actually created on the road to a road show. My roommate at the time, Damien, we were driving down, and him and I used to goof off all the time. It didn't matter what. So Magnum came on the radio, and forgive me, I can't remember the artist, and we both just started freestyling to it, goofing off. And somehow we were like, that's not bad. So we played the song a couple times, and we just kept goofing off till finally we ended up syncing the same choreography. Like he did a piece, I did a piece, and whatnot. And next thing I know, I'm like, man, I think we could do this on stage. And he's like, nah, are you kidding me? I'm like, it'll be another hype song. And sure enough, we let it go because we were on a road show. And I want to say maybe a week or two later, I was on, it was a slow night. I was like, you know what, let me try this. So I grabbed like 3 guys. I was like, hey, you guys want to do this hype song with me? It's super easy. They were like, sure, why not? And I taught it to them in the back maybe 30 seconds before I go up on stage. I said, all right, once the song starts, I'm going to holler at y'all. You guys come on stage and we'll do it. Super simple choreography, maybe even a little ghetto, but it's great. It worked out and it's phenomenal and people love the song. And so it just gave me another tool in my arsenal once again that I could just employ whenever I felt like maybe fire might have disconnected the crowd or maybe the act was a little too much. And it works out great. I absolutely love it. I haven't done it in a while because I've just been making slightly longer acts, so I don't like to take up too much of my stage time because I still need enough time to strip and collect tips. So that is K7 and Magnum, both my hype songs, which I do thoroughly enjoy. And if you've seen them, you know what I mean. It's fun. It's a lot of fun just having guys up on stage. All right. So moving into actual acts again, we have Secret Agent Man. So Secret Agent Man, or Secret Agent, was given to me by Rico, which is one of my mentors. He was the resident cowboy along with Randy the Master Blaster. But he was jack of all trades. He could do anything. He could do hip hop, he had Universal Soldier, he had a mask act, he did comedy. He was a full-blooded entertainer through and through. And I used to love watching him perform this because it was so intricate that you just go through one character and costume to another right on stage. And women liked it because you played around with the girl on stage a lot. And it was the right amount of flirtation and comedy to where it was still tasteful. And I really enjoyed it. And so after he retired, or before, he was like, you know, I asked him, I was like, hey, how do you feel? He said, whenever I retire, it's all yours, brother. So he ended up eventually retiring. And I slowly started to put the stuff together. And it took a couple months. It took a little bit. Maybe I was in the middle of an act or something like that. I don't remember. But eventually I was like, you know, I like having another solo person act. I like having another act where I could put someone on stage. I enjoy Doctor, so why not? So I put it together. It was great because by the time I had done it, people had kind of forgot about it because Rico didn't do it all the time. And Secret Agent involves me starting off as a secret agent, come on stage in a tux, and then slowly but surely I strip down where eventually I do a portion where I'm Batman, and then I strip down again, I do a portion as Superman, and then I do another portion where, forgive me, I don't know the reference, so I'll have to get back to you, but it's kind of a Driving Miss Daisy thing. I'm sure it's in the movie, I'm almost positive, it escapes me right now. And the entire time I'm messing with the woman, and it's a lot of fun. They react so well to it. I can't actually remember the last time I had someone on stage that they didn't enjoy. At one point the Jaws theme comes up, so I'm sprawled across them and trying to swim away, and they're spanking my butt. And they just really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of clean fun. It's always great when people see it for the first time because they enjoy all the costume changes and whatnot. So it's great. I really enjoy that act. And it makes me happy to have it along. Alright, Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, I want to say, was when I finally started to understand what women wanted to see and the formula for making a really good act. So Ghost Rider stemmed initially from me wanting to create an act that incorporated my fire routine, my fire poi. Reason being is that if I had something like Robot, where now you're talking about a 6-minute act, which is long for our standard, most of them average about 3, and then I take another 2-3 minutes for fire. Well, now you're talking about 9 to 10 minutes on stage before I've even finished stripping or collecting tips. So it doesn't leave me much time on stage, and it's unfair to the other guys, and women get bored. So I wanted to incorporate fire into an act. So I was thinking of all the themes and things I could do, and I'm a nerd, and I used to love Ghost Rider, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Like, Ghost Rider is awesome. That's perfect. So I tried to figure out how I could do it, and I looked, and you can order the Kevlar used for fire poi in strips, tubing. So a friend of mine was kind enough to I purchased chains, cut them the right length, and she went ahead and wove it through the chains and sewed them on there so they were locked in. And the Kevlar, all you gotta do is soak it in gasoline and light it on fire. Bam! I have chains that light on fire, very much so like Ghost Rider. Granted, I understand people that don't know Ghost Rider may or may not make the reference, but you know, with Nicolas Cage doing it in the movie and whatnot, I feel like it got across. So I decided to spur a little bit as well, make it a little theatrical, where I went ahead and took the intro of the actual movie and threw that as the intro, the trailer for the movie, threw that as the intro, the dialogue, and then added a little extra dialogue of my own between Mephistopheles and the Ghost Rider, which I dubbed over being me. So he actually says Cesar in the act, which everyone got a huge kick out of. He resurrects me, I banish him, and then Rock comes on. And I did choreography to Rock with just regular dancing choreography. Then I added some kind of Viking music for the chains, to unravel the chains and do a little bit of chain choreography, which made it different and had that sinister feel to it and powerful. And then finished with us actually taking off our jackets and going to Addicted by Saving Abel, I believe is the band. And it really works because even if the rock is too much or the Viking music is too much for people, they connect because that was a popular song, and we're shirtless now. So it kind of touches again, it brings them back into we're a strip club, and even the people are like, oh my god, get your clothes off already. We get our clothes off, we reconnect with them, and we put some sex appeal in it. And it was a huge success. Like, sometimes people are like, oh my god, The Rock, but they really love the feel of it. The bandanas with the skulls on them, and the leather jackets with the spikes, and it just really had a good feel. And then obviously when they thought the show was over, boom, I come out with chains and light them on fire, and it just always woos the crowd. It's really good. I'm very proud of that act, which I started to bring back again, and people are loving it once again. The one thing I will add though is that trying to do regular fire poi moves with weighted chains is not the easiest thing. It's proven to be a lot tougher because you have to get a lot more momentum going, but the fact that it's a chain on fire sells it. So it's good. I really enjoyed that act, and I appreciate everyone always giving me good feedback about it. Next is Barbershop Quartet. So this was a ripoff of the Jimmy Fallon show. He ends up doing a Barbershop Quartet cover of very popular songs, and I ended up coming across the Barbershop Quartet of Talk Dirty. Talk Dirty is one of the songs that I used to play in my set all the time. It was actually the first song in my set. Women really liked it, I really liked it. So I was like, you know what, this might have some potential. So I ended up showing a couple of my fans, and I'm sorry, they showed me the video and they were like, you should turn this into an act. And I was like, you know what, game on, challenge accepted. So put together, ordered the stuff, the straw hats and the ribbons, or the I don't know what they're called, but the elastic red mache stuff that goes on the sleeves and collars and stuff, bow ties and vest, candy colored vest. I already had the white pants from Top Gun, and copied the audio for it, and then put Talk Dirty after it, the actual Talk Dirty after it, and made about a minute and a half to 2 minutes worth of hip-hop choreography to it. And the way it worked is, we'd all come on stage, and I kept the announcer from the Jimmy Fallon show and all that stuff, and we literally sing a Barbershop Quartet version of Talk Dirty, which women first look at us like, what the heck are these guys doing? And then when they recognize the song and how much fun we're having with it, goofing off, they end up laughing, getting a real kick out of it. But of course, sometimes comedy alone doesn't work. So then we strip really quick to, I think, shirtless. Yeah, about shirtless. Maybe we keep the vest on and dump everything else. and then we dance to the actual Talk Dirty. That one, hit or miss. Hit or miss. Some people are like, oh, what are these guys doing? Other times they absolutely love it. Gets pretty good feedback, but another one I liked. Fireman. Alright, so we do have an old school fireman that's been in the club for ages. That's a solo act where the guy brings the girl on stage, he revives her from the smoke-inhaled room, and then he comes out to Nickelback and stuff like that. But one of our choreographers that the club hires to come out on a yearly basis to bring a new production show to the club, as well as shape everyone up into, you know, learning choreography and cleaning up our acts, is David Greenhouse. And so shout out to him. He's a good friend of mine. I enjoy him a lot. And he created a fireman routine to light him up by Fall Out Boy. Or I'm sorry, I know my songs Know What You Did in the Dark, or something like that, a really long title. That song was referred to me by a friend, but I didn't get it first. Axel actually did. He was playing at the club first, and eventually he stopped playing it, or I think he might have let me use it for Fire. I asked him on a road show, I think it was the first time I used it, I believe. And then he slowly stopped playing it. I asked him again if I could use it at the club. He said sure, and then I started using it to Fire. So he brought it, and he did a fireman routine to it, which is really neat. It's kind of simple yet kind of intricate depending on what portion of it you're looking at. It was definitely took us about 2 days to learn it, but I really enjoyed it. It remained a club act for a couple months, and then it fell through. And then I went ahead and cleaned up the uniforms, put it back together, taught some new guys, and decided to take it of my own. I believe I asked the boss if I could have it. He said sure, why not, as long as it gets done. And then it worked out great for me because a fireman, you know, it was playing us my song, quote unquote. It was a fireman, and then I could lead into, after I took my top off or whatnot, leave my suspenders and pants, and then play Bring Me to Life and do my Fire. So fireman doing Fire worked out great. And it's good, it's good. High energy, crowd loved it. I really liked it. It was a popular song. It appealed to all ages, and it went in theme. So I really liked it. I still enjoy doing it. I haven't done it in a while actually, because slowly but surely the uniforms have gotten ripped up on stripograms and guys tearing them up and stuff like that. So I have to get that fixed. One other interesting part of it was at one point we rip our tank tops to in sync with the music, which has proven to be quite difficult because sometimes guys are too big for the tank tops, other times the tank top rips at an awkward angle, and then you immediately go to some kind of flag choreography, which the people watching the video saw me do a little of it. It's really great, really neat, but yeah, it's proven to be quite interesting sometimes and a little bit of comedy relief when we do it. So moving right along, we have Samurai. So Samurai stemmed from actually me having a theme to an act with a theme to my birthday, which I typically don't do because I like throwing the crowd off. They don't know what my new act's gonna be that I do. But for this time I wanted to do it, and I wanted to push my choreography skills. So I decided to get inspiration from this group called Quick Crew. They're a hip hop crew. 3 guys that look very similar. They move fantastically, and they really emphasize on fun, like fun choreography. They do some choreography to Blurred Lines, which I really like as well. So they did these series of commercials for Samsung, and it's them dressed up as Japanese civilians, farmers, something like that, and they just do wicked choreography. And so, you know, I was like, you know, I really like the feel of that. So I ended up taking some comedy aspects of their skit through that initially, and it was, their first group was Joseph Salas, Jason Wick, and myself. And it took me forever to choreograph because I really wanted to push my limits and go very, very in-depth with the beats and the musicality of it. And I was choreographing to and, so 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and, very quick stuff. And still threw some humor in it. It was a lot of fun. It really was, and the guys liked it. And it was just super, super intricate. Like, it took a lot of time for us to get it down. And there were even some parts where we still didn't quite get down, but the choreography is so fast and so hard that you kind of just got lost in the sauce. And it ended up being a flop. It was a huge success on my birthday. People laughed and they loved it, but overall, even the night that I rehearsed, which I would think was the Thursday before my birthday, it was actually funny. That's the video I have up for my patrons to watch. And it was our first full dress rehearsal run on stage. And there was a party right there on the rail. And you can hear the entire time we were going through the skit, them screaming that they want, you know, reproductive organ. The entire time. It was pretty funny. And that was the only group there, so that's all you hear. And yeah, so continued to do it a couple of times, not consistently, but a couple of times. And I felt like it just didn't have the connection. We didn't strip in it. The music was all Asian orientated or heavy hip hop, so it didn't really connect with the crowd. And the humor just kind of went unnoticed for the most part. So sadly to say, that one I kind of hung up. Haven't done it in a very long time, even though you still see the guys periodically wear the traditional Japanese headgear. Yeah, it was sad, but it was a learning process, and that's when I started to realize that sometimes we have to remember that we're in a strip club, and it's not necessarily about how great you can make the choreography, but more about what the women are going to appreciate and understand. So yeah, that's when I started to make the adjustment of like, more is not always better. And you'll see that in my upcoming acts that I create, even for other people, when I started to simplify the choreography, where it just looking clean and going with a good song had a much better impact or significant impact with the crowd than something like Robot or Samurai. Moving along is Vampire / Dracula. So it was another famous act, or not famous act, but theme that has been in the club for a while, because vampires have been popular ever since the ages of Interview with the Vampire. And then we've had the Twilight vampires and the Black Dagger Brotherhood vampires and Underworld vampires. So it's always been a thing going on. Axel has dipped into a vampire as well. I believe Christian has one also. So this act was originally designed for Caden when he was dancing, and it kind of fell through a little bit. I believe he retired shortly after, before we could get it on stage. Then Jason was interested in doing it, and so I made a modified version for Jason that better suited him. During that time, he either created himself or had someone contracted to make a giant coffin for him, because that was something we thought would really sell it. With the coffin made, we went ahead and redid the act, and I choreographed it for him. We had a little trouble trying to find an altar, but I thought an altar would be really good. Found one, and it just kind of fell through. Jason, for whatever reason, didn't really want it at the time. I guess he was happy, or maybe he had acquired a monk or whatnot. So we went ahead and moved on, and it just kind of got put on the back burner. A little while later, I was like, you know what? This is a good act. No one's doing a vampire thing. I think I'm going to bring it back. I want to try another solo act. And initially, I was going to make it to where I could give it back to Jason. And so I ended up doing it. I think it was a modified version of both of Caden's and Jason's put together. Got the altar decorated, I figured out what I wanted to do, and just slowly started to improvise. It's a very, very simple act. There's really no die-hard choreography to it. I kind of play it by ear, and it's a lot of me just personifying the vampire seduction and turning a woman. I bring her up on stage. I walk out of the coffin. I burn a book. It's not the Bible, even though everyone thinks it's the Bible. I'm not sure why, but I burn a book. I kind of seduce the crowd a little bit, intimidate them. Come back. I will someone onto stage, lay her down, and I slowly turn her to be my bride, and mess around with her to some really good music, a little bit of Lost Boys action, and then I carry her off stage. Very simple, but it works. It works. Sometimes it's not for everyone. It has gotten bad reactions, but for the most part, people think it's a very hot skit and they enjoy it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I go back and I either strip to Lost Boys slowly and rip my tank top, or I do Counting Bodies Like Sheep from Perfect Circle, which I took from Caden. I really like that song. I really appreciated when he would do it. And so I asked him if I was able to do something similar, and he was all for it and even helped me on certain things and whatnot to make it better. So I just hope I do it justice from the version he did. So that's Vampire / Dracula. moving on to Fake ID. So Fake ID was me once again trying to broaden my horizons. Heard this song, thought it was great. Great song, super fun. It was actually off of from Big and Rich, Fake ID, and it's actually off of the soundtrack to the second Footloose. I did not know that, never saw the movie, but I saw it, the video, and I really enjoyed the song. And so when we just had a gap of not having really a dedicated cowboy, so I was like, you know what, let me try. I've never choreographed country. So I went online and I found a tutorial for the chorus portion of the line dance. There's a line dance that they did in the movie, so they actually posted, the actual choreographers posted a tutorial for it. I learned it and then realized that I just wanted to play the whole song, so I choreographed the rest of the song myself to include the shirt rip and synchronization and even a little bit of line dancing. It worked out really well. Guys pushed them a little bit to learn it, but the guys that learned it well, and then they enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun doing it. I still, to this day, I ended up selling it, but to this day I really enjoy doing it on stage. It's a lot of fun. I don't even count, I just sing along with the song, and it's not as popular as I thought it would be, considering that the song is in a popular movie, but I always catch women singing along, and women do go up to stage for it, so it gets the crowd in a really good mood. I like it, and I think the other guys like it too. So yeah, that's Fake ID and my successful jump into choreographing country. Let's see what we're doing on time. Okay, so next up we have my stand-up acts. So sometimes on Sundays it's really slow, and Wednesdays really slow. Like, we'll have a handful of women in the club, and most of the time they're regulars. So, well, they're regulars, they've seen all the acts a bunch of times, but I still wanted to give them something to enjoy on stage that would require me to get all the guys together or, you know, go crazy. So what I contemplated doing is taking a few stand-up acts, short ones like 2 to 3 minutes clips, and performing those on stage. And so the two I went with, I've added since then, but the two I went with originally was Brian Regan, where his spelling bee one, where he talks about being a kid in school and how embarrassing the spelling bee was and whatnot. And some people have recognized it and enjoyed it, and other people are just kind of like, what is he doing? But I've enjoyed it a lot. The second one is Cuss the Teacher Out, or Permission to Cuss in School by Kevin Hart, which, oh man, I can't tell you how many people know it. People scream when they hear it. It's great because everyone enjoys it, and I play the part very well, I lip sync it very well, and I, you know, do all the mannerisms and stuff like that. I really have fun with it. So regardless of how many people are in the club, they end up really getting a kick out of it, and they have a blast. The owner, turns out, doesn't really like it that much, so I tend not to do it when he's there, and it's his right, completely understand. But it ends up working out good, and it makes it to where it's something for the regulars or something for a smaller crowd that they still get to enjoy, but we're not doing a full-blown production and whatnot at the beginning or the end of the night. And like I said, I've periodically added to it, so it works out pretty well. But yeah, so let's see what else. I may actually need to break this up into another episode, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more acts to discuss. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let it go right here. Give you guys a on time but goodie that I hope you all enjoy. But what I will do is tell you a little bit more about the reality show I have coming up. Alright, so it has been very interesting for me learning how to edit stuff for show quality, to include camera frame sizes and how to get footage and background noises and ambiance and all that. It's been a lot of fun, but it's definitely been a labor of love. Like, there's nothing worse than when you spend 2 hours working on a scene or a clip, and then when you're done you realize that you've only edited 2 minutes of footage. So yeah, that's something to take into account. But it's worked out really well. The entertainers have seen some clips of the show because I wanted them to be just a surprise, and they are very excited about it. They're looking forward to see everyone else's reactions. And it's just something that I'm hoping to really make my voice popular and kind of let the world know what all goes into being a male entertainer. At least a certain aspect of it that, you know, the usual we're people and it's a lot of work and our shows are not as easy as people think they are. So definitely tune in. It's going to be hosted on YouTube initially, and we'll see where it goes from there. The premiere will be coming up soon. I'm actually going to be having a premiere at La Bear, Dallas on a Sunday because that's when I plan on releasing all the episodes. And XL/Hardbodies will be having their premiere. That's whichever Sunday we decide to do it as well. It'll be one of those things where the club will be open ahead of schedule. Bar will be open, and people that want to come and watch the show can get in for free and enjoy the show. Don't quote me that. I'm going to double check and make sure, but be on the lookout for the trailer. I should be releasing that here soon. Social media. Social media is the way of the world. So if you could please help us get our word out, by all means, please do. You can find me at Cesar Goyaso or Cesar LeBear on Facebook and Cesar LeBear 7 on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me there. And then on SoundCloud and iTunes, it is Cesar the Crowd Pleaser, where you'll find this podcast at. If you're anywhere on any of those social media platforms, please like, subscribe, share. YouTube, it's Cesar LeBear as well. Definitely like, subscribe, and share. It means a world to us. It definitely helps let this kind of viral out, essentially. And also leave comments. Comments are great. Things like iTunes doesn't really give me good algorithms or analytics as to how the show is doing. So leave comments, because I listen to them, I read them, and I try to take them into account. And stay tuned for all the great things I have coming up in the future, because heaven knows I like to create things. And then I will see you at La Bear whenever you're in town or whenever you decide to come out and have a great time. Say hi. Let me know you like the content. I'll have a warm hug waiting for you and possibly even a couple of dances. Alright, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next time.